And good evening, everyone, and welcome out to Walk-Ons. A little bit of music there. That was kind of catchy, Coach. Here we are on and look, I say to get Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, Tuesday night edition of the Thursday night Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towing. Here we are live at Walk-Ons on a Tuesday night, and boy, it seems like the end of October always gets us messed up. Out of town the rest of the week I am, so I had to move it to tonight. Next week we've got my day job has our Halloween festival on Thursday night, so that pushes it back. So the next two nights we'll be in here on a Tuesday night, and counting tonight. And Coach, I talked about, I said, we'll be back to Thursday after that in week 10, unless we win these next 2 weeks, and then we might just come back here on Tuesdays.
Hey, okay. Look, I enjoy being here. I enjoy, chatting with you, so I don't care what day of the week it is, to be honest. The routine is, you do fall into a routine as a coach and proceed, the week kind of runs itself, but here we are on a Tuesday, and I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do Thursday, probably watch some there'll be games on Thursday. Follow
You'll do
scores.
the same thing you do on the show. You watch the scores.
We'll follow scores and get ready for Friday night. And we'll be in the coaching box here soon, trying to get this bad taste out of our mouth.
Speaking of bad taste in your mouth, bowl advisory here, so you weren't able to get your half and half tea. You had to go with canned soda.
Yep.
But the whole city's under that bowl advisory. I'd be able to segue into something.
Got that message halfway through practice, and you're thinking like, okay.
Right.
All right, here we go. So when we got in the locker room, not that anybody drinks that busted up water fountain we got in the locker room anyway, but
it's gonna be one of them nights.
I don't know if it works or not. But hey, somebody put a little caution tape over the water fountain. I don't know whether it works or not. True story. I remember Mercer is filling up his, to take to class. I don't know whether it was when it's hot early in the semester, but he's like, he's holding down that water fountain. Right. It's like just trickling out. It won't come all the way out. And he's like, what is going on? No lie. Out crawled a roach out of the water fountain, and then it got to running again just fine. And whatever, he poured his water out. He said,
went on back to class.
No, I think he might have said, it's just another day around here. Press that thing up and fill his cup up.
What's the statute on limitations of him returning and getting water out of the fountain? Did he wait a week? Was he right back soon? What happened?
I don't want to lie and say, but I think he just kind of shrugged his shoulder, poured out the water that was trickling out,
and got the other,
and filled it up after it crawled out. But
can't be fun at the old ballpark.
That's a true story. That's a true story.
Another true story, Coach, that we have is, it's 14-14 in the game on Friday night. Ouachita, that thrilling 1 point. If there ever was a thrilling game, this was another one of those that you found yourselves behind by 21 in it. It starts out 7-0. We come back and score 7. It's 14-14, and we're like, you know what? At least we didn't start down 21-0 in this one. And then you turn around through some misadventure on there, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But again, you hate to keep throwing that word out, resiliency, Coach. But talk to that a little bit.
Well, as we go back through the game, you're right. They score, we score. They score, we score, and then they score. Kickoff to us, turnover on the kickoff.
Which we've watched the tape a lot too, and you hate to dwell on stuff like that. But John Barajas is diving forward. Ball hits the turf and pops out of there. Yeah,
it's ground calls the fumble. No fumble, but hey, it is what it is.
Bad thing, you're right in front. And one thing I've learned through the years, you're right in front of that Ouachita bench, and they're hollering and pointing their way. And I think the officials get caught up in that.
Yes and no. It's human nature to, I do know that some of it's coaching 101. There's things you want to do to your sideline versus their sidelines, because the ability to influence is something that is certainly discussed. It's not that you do influence, but the ability to have influence is certainly easier on your sideline than it is on the opposing sideline. And I'm not saying that's what took place, but, hey, bad break, part of the game. Certainly, you have some go your way, you have some go against you. But before you know it, it just in a blink of an eye, it's 28-0, and it's really 35-0 because they scored several touchdowns on, I want to say in 5 offensive snaps they scored 21 points.
That's
and
correct.
Yes, that's where the separation creates.
2 drives in a row they scored on 1 play, so they had scored in a matter of 3 consecutive plays.
Right, and then the game just kind of busted open there, and but look, anybody that's been around, followed, our kids and our program is never out of the fight, and not going to lay down, and we're certainly not going to play to keep it close. Some people, the thought is man, this could really get out of hand, and if we keep our foot on the gas, we might end up getting beat, and getting embarrassed. Well, losing's losing. Whether I told them at halftime, this score might end up 200-14 or whatever. I don't care. Right. Crap, a loss is a loss, at the end of the year. So we're going to continue to just throw everything we got and see what we can do, chip away, your effort. There were other things said that I'm not going to discuss. You challenge their toughness, you challenge their grit and resolve, and it's easy to it's easy to do it when it's easy. Right. It's easy to do it when you can dominate somebody, and sometimes it's more difficult to do when when you're getting punched back and you're getting battled back. But started this rant with, if anybody's been around, been a long time since we just laid down and accepted it from somebody.
Look, I don't recall the last time that's even happened in there. And you guys have fought. There's games, we talked off the air about this too. There's been, I think, 35 now and 16 over the last 5.5 years on there. Yep. And you can count the number. You go back through the 1-point losses that you guys have had. You've been in it. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I don't know whether to be proud, and I am proud that, boy, we're going to be in it. We're going to battle you. Our kids are going to compete until there's no time left. Our coaches are going to compete. I love working with these guys because there ain't no backup in them, regardless of the opponent. But yeah, you want to win these ball games. I think that's the biggest thing that, maybe aggravated me a little bit after the fact is not necessarily from within our sideline or our coaching staff. Yeah, we're proud of the comeback. We're proud of the grit and the resolve and the fight and the finish. Super proud of it. We'll always be proud of that. That's what our kids are going to do. That's what that's what we kind of want to believe is a foundation of what we do, is that we're going to continue to battle and find a way. As long as there's a time on the clock, we're going to battle. But you also want to get to the point where coming up short ain't okay. And that's the thing for as we talk this week is. Actually today, told them at the end of practice, look, there's this can beat you down, and right. this can what you're going through right now, you invest so much, it can beat you down, and you can get frustrated, and you can want to quit. You can want to, crap, man, this ain't going my way, I'm gonna throw in the towel. But the bigger thing for this is even in life's gonna beat you down, as you move on to the next thing in life, whatever it is, when football comes to an end, some of this stuff, your ability to stay resilient, your ability to see things through, your ability to stay committed to a cause even when it doesn't look like the outcome is going to work right. for you. All these things are going to serve you later in life, and that's what I want the kids to learn from being a part of this. Is one day they're going to be men, and I know that's cliche and a lot of people probably preach it, but we believe it. It is the core of who we are. So yes, I'm proud. I want to do a better job as a coach so we begin to finish these things. One, how about let's not come back? How about we just kick your face in from the get-go? How about we just beat your tail from the get-go and compete at a level, where we ain't trying to come back. We just going to dominate you from the opening kickoff, and that's easier said than done against these. That's a quality team with a quality staff, and a ton of credit to them and the job that they did. Not taking anything, but that is the other side of it. Is let's not dig out of a hole. Let's just own the game from the beginning, and we've got in a hole a lot this year. We've been in. Well,
yeah.
It's been a ball game, and people have had to play well to beat us.
There's no rest in the starters against the Trojans.
That's right.
That's for sure. We're going to look at some of those second half highlights and maybe some of the first. I've got a couple that we'll pull up in the first. We're going to take our first break of the evening. When we do, we're going to look back at that Ouachita game just a little bit more, and then we're talking about getting back home finally. Finally, we'll be back to Butch Stoker Stadium as we welcome in the Rebels of Pineville, a team that we played in the Jamboree. And we'll see our thoughts on that.
It's been a lot of season since the Jamboree.
It's been a lot of
season.
Indeed, it has. They have yet to win a game, but look, I'm telling you, they played their best football at the tail end of last season, and I expect the same from there. We'll get to them a couple of segments down the road. Right now, we're going to take our first break of the evening. When we come back, we'll look at some of the highlights from the game on Friday night. Thrilling game. Came up just a tad short in that one, but the resiliency, and I'm going to quit saying that word, but that's what showed. Don't go anywhere. We are live from Walk-Ons. It is the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towings. We'll be right back.
It all started with a sketch on a napkin. An idea created by two walk-on bench warmers. And after 10 years of hard work and perseverance to turn their dream into a reality, it's the #1 sports bar in America.
Welcome to Walk-On.
Walk-ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
The 2022 Time Dealer of the Year, Bob Giles, is now the new Hyundai dealer in Senla. Bob earned the industry's most prestigious award out of 16,000 new car dealers nationwide.
Hi, I'm Bob Giles, and I promise our team at the all-new Giles Hyundai will do everything possible to live up to the high standards that earned us this most prestigious honor. And with the utmost enthusiasm, we greatly look forward to serving you.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
BK Distributors is proud to support high school athletics on 446 Sports. BK is the one-stop shop for trophies, banners, awards, letter jackets, and just about anything award-related. And now, welcome BK Apparel and BK Promotions to the family for all your spirit apparel needs and anything you need to brand your business. When you think of anything you need with your name on it, think BK. Check them out on Facebook or at bkdistrib.com. BK Distributors, Apparel and Promotions in Pineville.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investments.
And we are back live to Walk-Ons. Look, I've been fumbling through my words here for a while. Chuck, still hit that button for me, Chuck. There you go. That should take care of it. Got that echo, and I know where it comes from. So, Coach, we're going to take an opportunity to look at some of the games. We'll get Chuck to pull that up. And this is, I believe, it's our first touchdown of the night. So tell me what you have going on there.
Well, we run a bunch of naked bootlegs, out of all kinds of different looks. And, everybody's got a version of this in their playbook where they just throwing it back to the guy that you faked it to, so we're, Cunningham can get lost.
Go ahead.
Run
through and then we'll come back. Again, it's that 2 on one side, 1 to the near side.
Just sprint away from it, running naked to the left, naked bootleg to the left, and then the back just, wheels on out. You can see that their kid falls asleep on it a little bit. Oh, they're sprinting away from it, and here we go.
Which is what you do a lot. Joe likes to roll that way.
Hit a very similar. I mean, it was at a different formation, different personnel grouping, but in 2020 in the championship game, hit a boo.
That's right.
Back. Very similar concept, just different. Different packaging to the play. I mean, it's same thing, but
you hear guys talk about looking in the backfield. This linebacker that's coming up or corner that's coming up here after the fake. Now they're chasing Joe, which is what you want set up in the play, and he's staring back into the backfield at Joe. And there goes
making it look
right
just like a a play that we've ran repeatedly. Where you're booting to to a flood concept.
The one thing that bothered me just a little bit on this one is that Cunningham's got 5 yards on the guy, yet he has to turn around and wait on the ball just a little bit.
Yeah, well, I just, when you got him open like that, don't take the risk of overthrowing him. The only thing, just loft it up there and let him do the rest, which is what he does. The worst thing that can happen when you have this is an overthrow when you do have him running wide open. You don't. If the guy's in phase, he's right there running with him, you got to drop in just a beautiful throw. But that's not the case here. So just give him a nice, easy ball that he can catch, and we got a chance to hit the play. Even if he doesn't, obviously we want to score with it, but if he doesn't hit it, let's not waste it. So that's kind of the thing, Joe. You ain't got to throw a 1 in a 100 ball where you drop it right on the tip of a pin. He's going to be running. As you turn and you find him with your eyes, if he's running open, just give him a ball he can do something with, and Joe does a great job here.
This is a little bit. This is the tighter version of it. Take me through that offensive line. They seem to have done
just
a really
an 11
good job.
personnel, tight ends attached here. James Harrington's on the front side, to protect this thing, so that we don't have somebody running immediately in his face. The rest of them are, they're just simulating. A slide protection outside zone 2.
Harrington does a good job.
Does a great job of just protecting, so we don't get immediate pressure right there in his face.
And then Datlin's able to get it, and good effort by 5 to hang in there.
He did it all night. I think he had 38 carries for 227, 228. I can't remember what it was. I mean, look, we ran a bunch of offensive plays. I mean, we basically controlled the second half as far as, with some of the onside kicks that we recovered and
we'll talk about
some different
too.
stuff. That, another thing, they didn't run many plays. They returned a kick, when we did kick it deep and, scored on a couple of quick drives. But, I was he had 38 carries. I think Joe threw it 47 times. We ran a bunch of offensive plays the other night.
Now you go back the other way. This is the second touchdown of the night for the Trojans. And Joe, of course, and this is right where you want them, second down and long. I mean, we were in long
I think we were coming off of a holding penalty. We had ran the ball on second down, had a decent gain, and just a little sprint concept that we run. I mean, a lot of these are concepts that are repeated. They're just presented in a different way. It's not, we try and teach it to our kids where we're not going to teach you plays. We're going to teach you some things conceptually, and then how we build it and how we get to it. It's a bunch of plays, but it's a couple of concepts, and once you understand how you fit in it, I don't know that we've presented it this way to a defense yet this year.
Well, it's the first time that we saw Jalen come in motion as fast as he did. You see him basically sprint across the field, trying to get there, building up that head of steam.
Yep.
And it looked to me like he knew he was about to run by
Yep.
everybody.
Just double slant with a wheel, double slant with a flat. I mean, it's a staple in pretty much every offense that you watch on Friday night and Saturday that's throwing the ball around. This is, not anything that's groundbreaking. It's just the presentation. When you get movement involved and you get motion and it's happening fast,
You're seeing
15, 16, 17-year-old kids on the field have to do a whole lot of communicating and adjusting. And, obviously if we can get Jalen matched up with somebody in a foot race, that's something that we feel good about, and they turn him completely loose. But if it would have turned into a foot race, we'd have been fine with that too.
This is one, Coach, that we want to – I believe this is what led to what we talked about earlier. This was the fumble that was on there that really got things going. At this point, it's 21-14. They had just went up in the game, and now they're kicking off Gus. It hops over Jimmy Duncan's head, got away from him as it was kind of an in-between
little
bounce.
knuckleball off. Little knuckleball hits the ground. It's not a round ball. I don't know how it's going to bounce. He's as you run it back there, kind of gets a hand on it here at this point right here. He doesn't know if he doesn't know if it's going out of bounds or not. I mean, it's just not a round ball, so you don't know how it's going to land.
And John's looking to make a play.
Yeah, John's just trying to get up. I mean, crap, I'll take the ball right there on the 25-yard line, 1st and 10. Okay, here we go. Possession number 3. Let's go tie this thing up. Let's stay in the fight.
And again, we talked about it being right in front of the Ouachita bench, and we're looking dead at it.
Yeah, I mean, you get the end zone copy of it, and one of those things where some breaks go for you, some breaks go against you, and you got to be better than the breaks that go one way or the other. And we almost overcame some of these bad breaks.
That one of the breaks is that he tapped it right to Barajas there and was able to pull that in. But you see on that end zone cam that he's down clearly before the ball gets there. But it's it's
a difficult
news.
spot on the field. It's as far as the structure of where they are, the officials to see something like that. And the other side of it is, we come up with the ball and the ball's not on the ground, there's no ruling to make, so if and that's the thing we talked about immediately after the game is you can't, you gotta own what you can own.
That's right.
That's the, don't look to point at this or that before you do an examination of the role that you played. And, I usually tell the kids that a whole lot, and I try and get them to understand, don't think anybody's going to examine this more in the role that they played than not examine you tonight. I mean, tonight it's going to be an examination of where did we, make decisions, or where did I make decisions. So, I mean, just one of those deals where got to be better than and got to overcome some things.
Well, and so overcoming things you did. It's 35-14 at the half, and I mean, the fans that were
I'd have liked to have stuck that one. I'd have liked to have stuck that one in. We had an opportunity. We had a good drive going.
Well, that was at 9.5 minutes to go that they get that touchdown. So there's a lot of second quarter left to go.
We had a drive going there right before halftime and missed a couple of shot balls where we had a chance to score some touchdowns, whether it be drops or whether it be slide overthrows, or got called for a holding call that, but would have liked to have stuck that one in. Now you're 35-21 getting the ball coming out of half, and now you got a chance to go make it a one possession. So there's a bunch of things that when you go back and you really start, chopping it up and you go play by play and possession by possession of, man, had some opportunities.
It was, but it's a game that's like that. We're going to take another break. When we come back, I want to talk about the second half in there, and we will look at, that's another one of those fourth down stops that said the Trojans. This
is where they mishandle the snap, and
he takes a knee, and he's picking the ball up when he's got a knee down, and that's an automatic being down. So I bet we can look at that before we go to the break too. This was one of those fourth down stops that we thought turned some things around.
Yeah, Mingo's in at corner right now. We lost Tay in the middle of the ball game, and you're scrambling. And, Mingo's a highly intelligent, he does a great job of splitting that zone there.
Right.
between the number 1 and number 2 receiver. Just does a really good job of splitting that zone, and hadn't had a whole bunch of reps at that, to be honest, but he's a really good football player.
But he's a guy that you say, hey,
very intelligent.
I need you to do this.
Got a lot of trust in him.
And it's like, yes, coach.
That's
and
right.
He just
Got a
hops
lot
out
of
there and
trust in
does
him.
it. All right, we're going to come back. Because we talked about fourth downs, I think the Trojans set a modern record of 8 of 8 on fourth downs. You guys were to 7 out of 7 on first downs. Anyway, that's the story that I told. It didn't seem like you were missing a fourth down on there at all. Onside kicks you recovered. We're going to talk about all of that, and then we will get into, I promise you, we're going to get into Pineville week, and we'll do all of that when we come back. We're going to take a break. You are watching the Thomas Bachman Show, a special Tuesday night edition of it. This is the Thomas Bachman Show, brought to you by Sadler's Towings, right here on 446 Sports.
It all started with a sketch on a napkin. An idea created by 2 walk-on bench warmers. And after 10 years of hard work and perseverance to turn their dream into a reality, it's the number 1 sports bar in America.
Welcome to Walk On.
Walk-ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
The 2022 Time Dealer of the Year, Bob Giles, is now the new Hyundai dealer in Senla. Bob earned the industry's most prestigious award out of 16,000 new car dealers nationwide.
Hi, I'm Bob Giles, and I promise our team at the all-new Giles Hyundai will do everything possible to live up to the high standards that earned us this most prestigious honor. And with the utmost enthusiasm, we greatly look forward to serving you.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
BK Distributors is proud to support high school athletics on 446 Sports. BK is the one-stop shop for trophies, banners, awards, letter jackets, and just about anything award-related. And now, welcome BK Apparel and BK Promotions to the family for all your spirit apparel needs and anything you need to brand your business. When you think of anything you need with your name on it, think BK. Check them out on Facebook or at bkdistrib.com. BK Distributors, apparel and promotions in Pineville.
For a lifetime of the best possible vision, look to Wallace Eye Associates, where our tradition of eye care excellence in Senla spans nearly 40 years. From your next family eye exam to cataract and glaucoma evaluations, trust your vision to the experienced eye professionals at Wallace Eye Associates. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investments.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
And we are back live to Walk-Ons. I am Doug Gann alongside of head coach Thomas Bachman. And coach, sit at 3-4 on the season. Tough loss on Friday night. The Rebels coming up next week, and the Rebels coming up the next week before we're back home to West Washita in that game. But one of the things I want to talk about.
Two Rebels and a Chief, right?
Two Rebels and a Chief, that's right. And look, I always love going up where it's here, but playing that West Washita team, I don't think your friend there is the coach there anymore. He moved on. The guy that was there, is he back?
Talking about Matt Middleton?
Yes.
Yeah, Matt's at Cedar Creek.
Right.
Rainwater is now at West Washita doing a great job. I'd have
Cedar
to look
Creek,
up.
where Bryce came from.
Yep. Bryce played for Matt.
Matt couldn't have been too happy to see him. His family move.
Matt was at Southern Arkansas at the time, and then came back to Cedar Creek.
Gotcha.
He was very complimentary of when got the word that Dad had a job opportunity and coming down. Matt was very complimentary of Bryce and. Right. Who he is as a young man and a football player. And he's made a positive impact on our locker room. I know that.
Is anybody else bringing their sleeping bags and pillows in, or is it still just Bryce?
I don't know. The pregame routines and rituals of they get in that indoor and we turn the lights out and some of them lay there and sleep. Some of them. Probably play on their phone. I'm pretty sure some of them goof off. Better do it out of sight, out of mind.
Because if you're in there, I've seen you get aggravated when there's goofing off going on. I've seen that firsthand. So before we get off in that, hold on to that.
Yeah.
I want to get back into the second half of that game. And we joked about going 10 for 10 on fourth downs, but you guys didn't get stopped on a fourth down conversion. It seemed like your thought process was that we're going to go, and as long as we've got the football, we're going to try to go down there and score.
We're going to play to try and keep the score look like it's respectable. We're going to try and play to win.
That's right.
And so we started going for it, went for it on our own end, a couple of times, and obviously confidence that the kids can convert, and they did, and it was the only way to have a chance to really get back in it. You give them the ball and they go score. It's another possession where they, put some distance, or it's more time, and you only got so many possessions left in the game, and you're trying to dig yourself out of a hole. And
the play that got you to 42, the touchdown that got you to 42, it's 3rd and goal from the 2, and you get the 5-yard procedure penalty, I believe, and then for some unforeseen reason, there's a little 15-yard variety.
I got aggravated,
and that's I've not seen a lot of that.
Voiced my trying to think through the years,
Have you ever got tossed from one?
I have not.
I have not.
I'm trying to think. I got flagged in the playoff game against Mandeville. I know that's one of them.
I attributed this one a little bit, though, to a basketball coach going out there and getting a technical and firing his guys up, because all you do is go right back in there and score and get another onside kick.
Yeah, I was very proud that we overcame both the penalties and scored there from 4th down to keep ourselves in it really at that point, and then we're able to roll an onside kick, and now we got a chance. So it was
is two questions for you. Is there anybody better than the Trojans at devising ways to get the onside kick? And are you just going to get rid of kicking deep and let's just go get the onside?
We've, through the years,
because that does run in your family. The going for the onside kicks and all of that all the time. Dad
was great at it through the years, and the staff does a great job. Merce and Micah and really everybody, Russo. There's a lot of guys that are coming up with new wrinkles, but really it's the kids and the want to and the sellout and the commitment to it. Bodie and Channing, more Bodie than Channing is. It comes down to the quality of the kick and the bounces that you get, and he's doing an incredible job with with the job that he's doing. So
This move, and we saw that, I guess, was this week the first week that we saw everybody huddle up and then go to it and kick it? And it's out there on film and huddle and all of that, so I'm not telling anything that's not been.
Yeah, that was, his first time we've huddled now for a couple of weeks. I mean, not necessarily every kickoff, but, some kickoff. I mean, look, we're going to constantly change and adapt, but that was the first version of I guess, doing it that particular way, was the other night. And, you got different situations. You got it where you're trying to pull a surprise onside off. You got end-of-game situations where it's must-have type situation. And you just, we try and spend, really Thursdays just trying to cover situations. You got, 12 seconds left. There's no timeout. You get a first down, you're in field goal range, all right, clock stops. Just trying to – you can't assume that the kids understand the situations of football, so you try and teach them all those things. And when does the clock stop? When does it not stop? When does it, and you just try and rep as many different scenarios because you never know the one you're going to find yourself in. And, it's our job to prepare so that they're familiar with it. And you might have worked on this particular situation several weeks ago, and you're trying to hit your ones that come up more often as much as possible. And so we work on all kinds of situations there at the end of practice on Thursday. Onside must-have is an every week thing, and you keep it in your back pocket, that particular version of it, until you got to have it. And then once you put it, you always have that version, but now you got to come up with something else where you're trying to find ways to get it, because if you don't, more than likely when you're in a must-have situation,
they've seen what you're doing.
Ball game's over.
That's right.
So you got to come up with a couple of different ways. And look, there's been some teams through the years and programs that are great at these things, and so you try and steal some of their ideas too, and watch as much as you can. I mean, there's a bunch of, with technology today and YouTube and videos and stored. I mean,
there's a lot of things
you
to
can
see.
just present a lot of different stuff, and you can go back and, find the way that somebody did something and say, well, we don't have that particular player, we don't have that particular thing, but we can steal that idea from, so yeah, I mean, the kids have been great, and they're the ones that deserve the credit. JP, I call him JP. It's John Barajas now, but I mean he's done an incredible job of just the commitment level to go get to football and try and get it out in the hustle. And I single him out, but it's been a lot of them. But he's certainly been one of the ringleaders of it all.
It seems like that kickoff unit really looks forward to that because it's that's as much as a touchdown for those guys, the way that they get excited about it. And it should be. And it doesn't matter if you're up, if you're behind, if you're tied. There's an opportunity. You're going to steal it. That's right.
It sends energy up and down the sideline. And so, been fortunate here through the years. And, I mean, if you look, in our district, I mean, Ruston's super aggressive on
everybody these days. I mean, those teams that you see at the top of it, the Zacharys, the Catholics, all of those.
Some people play it different. I just, I know that through the years, like, I mean, I can think back to the double overtime playoff game. They rolled an onside kick on us, and Jack Granger recovered it. And, they rolled one this year. They were offsides or got flagged for being offsides.
And that's a difference.
Then
that's a difference.
They rolled another one, and Daniel Crenshaw recovered it this year. So,
look,
I mean,
Daniel played this game. I mean, he was in it. Just seemed like tackles everywhere you looked.
Yeah, look, we're excited. A lot of, look, down through the classes. I mean, we got to continue to develop. We got to continue. We got to, we talked a lot of Monday night after the JV and freshman games, just trying to challenge them of, it's time to fall back in love with the work. It's time to fall back in love with the earn it, you know, and really was talking to those young groups because freshman and JV ball is starting to wrap up. A lot of those JV kids are playing and contributing on varsity.
How did it go Monday night?
It was good. We're able to win both games, and
that was
we split last Monday night with Ouachita. We lost both sub-varsity games to Ruston. 2 weeks ago, and it's been good to play these JV and freshman games with our district. Now, it's been brutal because, I think 4 out of 5 weeks on a Monday night we were, 2 hours to North DeSoto, and then you're 2 hours home, and then you're getting right back up, and, you're in the office at, various times, but all of them are there by 7 o'clock. I try to get there a little bit early. I try to be in the office by 6 most mornings, and or around 6, I guess I should say. And, the kids are there, and we're on the field or in the weight room at 7:15. So that takes its toll when you're at North DeSoto, you're at St. Thomas More, you're at Leesville, you're at Ruston. We did that in 4 times in 4 weeks.
Which has led to Sunday night practices.
Yeah, which is, it's just a lot. But, it's also frustrating that, we don't get more opportunities, here locally to play sub-varsity with special teams and do the whole thing, because there just ain't a whole lot of people that want to do it anymore. And, so we've made a decision that if it takes us getting on the bus and having to travel and be a little bit later, then that's the way that we give ourselves a chance. I know that
it builds the program without a doubt.
I know that in Monroe they have a good, Neville's going to do it, Ruston's going to do it, West Monroe's going to do it, Ouachita, so they got a good little, group where they can get multiple games in. Shreveport Bossier has a good, where a lot of them are doing it. Lafayette have a lot of them. We just don't have a lot here locally where.
Do you find yourself with these teams saying, hey, if you want to play, come up here?
Yeah, I mean, St. Thomas More was very good to us as far as, we'll play. I think they usually play in the Lafayette area on Wednesday nights. And, they were like, we'll play on Monday night. But they got, 8 or 10 teams right there within 15 or 20 minutes that they can get, some quality sub-varsity ball. But
when you develop good relationships with teams like St. Thomas More and all of that out of there, that's just good for football in this area, because you become a household name with those teams that are there.
Yeah, I mean, it's good competition. They're going to stress you, I mean, we went down there and we had a lot of success in JV and freshman ball, and really we're kind of steamrolling people early, and it can give you, and then you go down and you play St. Thomas More, and they got a freshman quarterback that can make all the throws. Where we might have been getting away with we let the guy behind us, but this freshman quarterback can't make the throw, or their kid can make all the throws. And
where do they get all their quarterbacks from?
Well, Shane does an incredible job down there with the development of those guys.
Most recent Walker Howard down at LSU.
They got 2 juniors this year that didn't look like they.
Oh no, they were ready.
They could spin it, and but I think it's important to play that competition and not have a false sense of security about go play the ones that can stress you, and now you can adjust. And we did get our nose bloodied in a couple of these games and all that, and
that happens.
And that's a part of competition too. Just win. It's important to go stress yourself and challenge yourself, and I feel like the freshmen in JV have enjoyed it, and it's something that we'll look to continue as much as we can.
You talk about North DeSoto. How's Coach Dunn doing?
He's pretty good this year. I think they're 7-0 and scoring a bunch of points. And
typical Dennis Dunn type football.
Look, I talked to Coach Dunn, I don't know whether it was today or yesterday. The days start to run together. And, obviously pulling for him and excited about what he's got going on. He's got a little freshman quarterback that's starting for him. And
it starts as varsity?
Yeah,
wow.
and doing really, really well. And
that means watch out in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I mean,
for him without a doubt.
It looks like watch out right now. I think he's 7-0 and got it going, and I think he's got some challenging ones down the stretch. But look, anybody that's listening that knows Coach Dunn, Coach Dunn's coaching tree. The guys that played for him, worked for him. If you were to sit down and you'd need a big notepad.
If you tried to map out everybody that has his impact throughout football in there, I don't know how you keep up with it.
A lot of kids that played for him, and at LC, me, Ben. I'm trying. Look, I say me, Ben. I'm trying to think. There's a bunch, and I know it's not. I think Elijah Nixon was telling me he was trying to put a story together on Coach Dunn's, coaching tree and all this stuff. People that played for him, people that worked for him. Is really impressive. So we went up there and played him, and look, it was it was you know, I want to say we were down 2 scores in the fourth, came back and tied it, and they, you know, they tried the old Boise State there on the last play of the game and you know, fumbled the pitch, and we picked it up and ran it back on the last play of the game. You know, it was just a really fun, you know, really fun JV game where it came down to, you know, a couple of plays there in the end, and yeah, so excited about that. And JV and freshman ball, and we started all this with talking about Daniel Crenshaw, you know, sophomore.
Wow, look where we're getting talking about. That's like watching YouTube videos at night.
Yeah,
I wake up and
lost,
you don't know where you're at.
You know, excited about that sophomore class, and you know, the challenge for them is, are you going to allow yourself to be developed?
Right.
You know, and that's important. You know, it doesn't just happen. You know, that's the hardest thing to get people to. It doesn't just happen.
You talked about the St. Thomas More quarterbacks and how they developed through the years. You've had a history going back to the first few. I mean, you go back to Jacobian and Bud and the groups before that. I mean, guys were playing young. And you told me all the time, said, look, you play a little bit as a freshman or a sophomore, your junior year, you're spotty. But in 5A, you're trying to get there as a senior and play. And that's kind of out the window because these guys are playing young and making big impacts.
How do I want to touch on this? I
knew I'd get these good answers out of you.
Well, with the way that it is in our area,
right?
You know, the situations maybe in junior highs with, you know, sometimes it's good to get them, play them while they're young. You might get your nose bloodied when you're playing them while they're young, but eventually they ain't going to be young forever, and you're going to be, you know, pretty salty for a year or two. And in that group, you know, just depending on how you want it to be, where you just reload. But you know, if that's not the case, get them in there. Get a great, you know, when you get a great strong group like Bud and Jacobian and Judd and Cole and Dylan. I mean, those were 2 great classes right there, and we got our nose bloodied when they were, you know, freshmen and sophomores, and then when they were sophomores and juniors, we were
very competitive.
We were like, let's go. And then when they were juniors and seniors, like, okay, we're let's put a ball down, let's compete. It's not that you win them all, but we fixing to be in this thing to the very end. And so, you know, I don't know what the approach, I don't know what the class is. We like the kids that are in our locker room. Let's get back in love with the hard work and the earning it, and the, you know, just the, you know, Coach Saban and the job that he's done. Everybody's process. But there's a lot of truth in that. There's a process to development, and you know, that's just gonna stay in the fight. You know, that's all I know. Stay in the fight.
You talk about Coach Saban a lot on here. Of course, they dropped that game 52-49 to Tennessee, and it'd been 15 years, I think, since Tennessee beat Alabama. You knew it had to happen, but at mid-70s, I guess. Where does that drive come from in somebody like that?
I don't know. If you could bottle it and sell it, you'd be wealthy in a hurry. But you know, it's just an internal drive, and you know, a lot of discipline. I enjoy hearing what he says. It challenges me of, you know, just the daily discipline, and you know, doing what you have to do to be successful. You know, that, you know, it's not always so. The result is a byproduct of the things that you do. You know, you don't focus on the result, you focus on the thing that you got right here in front of you, and
the results
usually the results take care of themselves. And you know, so look, this is not necessarily that world that they live in. You know, I like to compare some of it. Some of it's not comparable. I love to go to these college practices and watch them do these things and steal from them. You don't have 75 behind the scenes personnel setting drills up and running all this stuff. So to think that you're going to be a carbon copy of that is a little bit naive. But how do you steal one thing that they're doing and try and implement it at the level that you have with the resources that you have, in comparison? You know, there's no resource spared. There's no, you know what I'm saying? It's you know, and that's where
the best of everything.
Well, they do this at whatever school, even in high school. Well, they do this at this school. Yeah, let's look at the resources.
Right.
Let's look at what's invested into it. You know, I mean that stuff matters too. You know, as far as from behind the scenes. And you know, I've said it multiple times. You know, programs versus teams. Everybody has a team every year, but there are really places that the program, props the team up, and they're starting a little bit further down the track in the race with what they've done every year
Right.
after year, with development and the behind the scenes and the off the field and on the field and all that stuff. All that stuff plays a huge role too.
We're going to take our final break of the evening. When we come back, I promise you we'll get into the Pineville Ash game coming up. I know I've told you that before, but this time we will. We'll talk about what we expect to see when the Rebels come out on offense and what we expect to see when they come out on defense. We'll talk about all of that when we come back. We're going to take our final break of the evening. You are watching the Thomas Bachman Show live from Walk-Ons, brought to you by Sadler's Towing. We'll be right back.
It all started with a sketch on a napkin. An idea created by two walk-on bench warmers. And after 10 years of hard work and perseverance to turn their dream into a reality, it's the #1 sports bar in America.
Welcome to Walk On.
Walk-ons, because everyone needs a little playing time.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
The 2022 Time Dealer of the Year, Bob Giles, is now the new Hyundai dealer in Senla. Bob earned the industry's most prestigious award out of 16,000 new car dealers nationwide.
Hi, I'm Bob Giles, and I promise our team at the all-new Giles Hyundai will do everything possible to live up to the high standards that earned us this most prestigious honor. And with the utmost enthusiasm, we greatly look forward to serving you.
Our mobile banking app is changing the way we bank. Things are getting easier, transactions are getting safer, and you have access 24/7. All the functionality of banking you're used to, made easier to use, anywhere, anytime, and more secure than ever. Simple, seamless, safe. Download our mobile app today.
BK Distributors is proud to support high school athletics on 446 Sports. BK is the one-stop shop for trophies, banners, awards, letter jackets, and just about anything award-related. And now, welcome BK Apparel and BK Promotions to the family for all your spirit apparel needs and anything you need to brand your business. When you think of anything you need with your name on it, think BK. Check them out on Facebook or at bkdistrib.com. BK Distributors, apparel and promotions in Pineville.
For a lifetime of the best possible vision, look to Wallace Eye Associates, where our tradition of eye care excellence in Senla spans nearly 40 years. From your next family eye exam to cataract and glaucoma evaluations, trust your vision to the experienced eye professionals at Wallace Eye Associates. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
Buying car insurance for the first time can be overwhelming. Do you have enough coverage? Are you paying too much? Will someone be there for you when the unexpected happens? I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. You may think it's easier online, but why wait? We're here to help you make sure you're covered. When it comes to car insurance, we have the answers, and we may have rates that save you money. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect your biggest investments.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone, day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
We are back live to walk-ons here on a beautiful Tuesday night, Coach. And it's
getting cold, isn't it?
It's less than 96 hours until kickoff. So.
I'll take it. We still got some work to do, to get ready for this one on Friday night. We still got, usually at this point on Thursday, we're going to go back and we're going to run through things that we've been through several times on Friday morning. But, being Tuesday, we still got another day in pads and
now,
practice.
This isn't senior night this week. That's West
That'll
Washington.
be West Washington.
Week
Yep.
10. Okay.
That'll be, this is, if this one fell the last regular season game, it would be senior night. But no, just a good rivalry game. And, look for this is the first real local game that we've played all year.
Indeed.
Through the years we've played, less and less. Unfortunately, you really wish that we played a lot more, but you can't make people play. But it's fun because the communities are so close. Both fan bases can turn out, and I hope they do. I hope they show up and. I don't know what the weather. I know it's going to be cold tomorrow. I don't know what the weather is going to be.
It's Louisiana. It'll be back up in the 80s.
Right.
And
So,
mosquitoes
is it really?
will be everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Look, one thing that's guaranteed, Coach, and is that Rapides Parish won't go over again this week.
Yeah, no
I think
doubt.
Rapides Parish was 0 for 8 last week. You and I talked about, and that
I
opens up a whole new can of worms.
I'd have liked to have been. Boy, we should have been the one. And that it just.
100 points scored by 8 Rapides Parish teams this week, and 48 of them came from Alexandria.
Yeah, we got 48, and
Ben got just about all the rest.
Yeah, we're gonna stay in this fight. We're gonna stay in this fight. We're gonna put a ball down and we're gonna compete. And our kids are bought into that. And look, it is what it is. Would have liked to have, been the exception, and really feel like in so many ways we had opportunities to be the exception. And look, excited for this one on Friday, ready to get back into this thing and get going.
Look, again, we talked about it early in one of the earlier segments. Coach Bell will have his guys ready to go. Take the jamboree and throw it out the window. None of that has any bearing on any of it.
Yeah.
You got to go out there and execute.
Look, I respect Bryant a lot. As a human being, as a man, and as a football coach,
Right.
I do, and I know that he's going to have them ready to roll. And it's early in the year. You watch the, some of the Tioga game, and they actually jump out on that thing, and got a chance to take a two-score lead and complete a deep ball and
the
a
guy
DB.
takes it away.
Yeah, he
That's
does,
right.
So. Look, you're going to get some things potentially early that you're going to have to weather. What new formations, what new structure. Don't fall asleep. How are they trying to hide somebody that's eligible? With some different things, and just make sure you have your discipline and your eyes are where they're supposed to be on defense. And gadget plays and weather it, and eventually you'll get to feeling each other out and playing football and let's go. But yeah, ton of respect for Bryant, the job, and what he's trying to do, how he's trying to get it going. We've all been there
Right.
when it's early, and some of the early years are some of the hardest years when you're trying to change hearts and minds and it's new but you see progress. You see progress, and
they're young. They graduated a lot of people.
That's right.
They've got some young players that are in there. You mentioned the phrase gadget plays and all that. The way you're playing this year, the plays are not gadget plays. They're part of your routine. The onside kicks, the whatever it is, a lot of bunch of things that you're doing.
Do you reverse pass, trick plays, I guess. I call them gadgets.
Wouldn't know, but that's right. But it just seems like you're a fighter out there throwing everything at your opponent, and and you're going after that, trying to get it to that.
Always
to
been
that
our
point.
approach. Talked earlier this week with in that Monday presser of this week, 3 weeks, playoffs. Everybody gets to talk about all that stuff. That's really never been our approach.
Right.
Playing to make the playoffs, playing not to make the playoffs. Like Yeah, I mean, you can get a sense of urgency, but do you not have a sense of urgency every week? I mean, I just don't understand that, you know, and look, I'm not saying I got it right. I mean, I know the playoffs rolls around and it is what it is, but, you know, if you're not going to make the playoffs, do you want to win any less than you wanted to win? If you know, I don't understand that. We're fixing to go compete, and if you're not competitive and you're not trying to win regardless, regardless of whether there's people in the stands or what's on the line or what's not on the line, like I don't – you know, I can't speak for everybody necessarily on staff, but I don't necessarily go along with that line of thinking.
Right.
We're going to throw everything we have into this ball game, and when this one's over, we'll get ready for the next one.
How many are you guaranteed each year?
10. You got to, you know, you get a scrimmage, a jam, and 10 games, and then you earn it from that, and you know, so. You know, the sense of urgency is what I'm talking about.
That's right.
You know, with
Absolutely.
all this. This is one we're looking forward to, and you know, I always love playing at home. You know,
I guess that's more of a better phrase of calling it than throwing everything at your opponent. You guys play with a sense of urgency from the coin toss to the final whistle.
We want to. I mean, obviously, we've got to do a better job of that, coaching and, you know, preparing and put 4 quarters together. But, you know, as far as the prep and putting it into and what you're going or who you're overlooking and who you're not overlooking, I mean, that stuff will bite you in a heartbeat if you're not 100% focused on the task at hand and what's in front of you. And, you know, that's where we are. I mean, I felt like we had a good Tuesday. I mean, we knocked each other around. Pretty good today. You know, there's good energy at the end of practice.
Circle it's getting colder now.
Circle them up, and you know, I mean, different things that go on throughout the day and the week and the year. All right, you put your hand in the dirt. Let's go, and the kids, you know, really enjoy that when we kind of get some of them competition things going on. Got a chance to do that at the end of practice, and the energy and the excitement, and you know, especially when you call out two where you know a little story or whatever it is, and they get to competing a little bit. So was excited about today. You know, I hadn't had a chance to really dive into today's practice film, but I will here shortly when I get home. You know, we'll have things to correct and things to coach and teach, and we'll do it all over again tomorrow, and eventually Friday will be here. I wish it was Thursday. But,
I know. Now you got a couple of days, and blame it on me.
Got a court, you know, but you know, back to Pineville. I mean, Bryant's going to be multiple on defense. He's going to give you a couple different looks. You know, he's not going to let you get comfortable by just lining up and giving you one thing. He's going to be able to match formations. He's going to have you schemed. He's going to know what you like to do out of that formation. He's going to try and take away your best stuff. You know, so, you know, there'll be some things that, yes, we're going to prepare for what we've seen on film. And then, you know, he's preparing for what he's seen on film too. So I know he'll have him ready on that. And then, you know, offensively, they've done a couple of different things throughout the year. So,
correct.
You know, what are you going to get? What are you going to see? What's the new wrinkle going to be? And, you know, ultimately it's about lining up and matching personnel groupings, matching formations, and lining ball snap, play fundamentally football, and get after somebody.
Well, you know, and again, cliches, truisms, whatever you want to call them. The Rebels are struggling this year. They're 0-7 on the season. This game, you know, they're going to come out. If they win this game, it makes up. It doesn't rectify a lot of things, but it makes up for a lot of things. If they can get some bragging rights against their rival from across the river, you know that they'll travel there. The fan base will be solid on there, and you know that this week of practice, Coach Bell's going to put everything he can in to come up there and knock you guys off.
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing the same.
Right.
You know, we're going to prepare, and you know, it's going to be, you know, everybody's going to be excited for Friday night, ready for Friday night to get here, and you know, I really do hope that people turn out, you know, and ignore whatever the weather is, good, bad,
it'll be just
anywhere
fine
in between. And, you know, I certainly am appreciative. I felt like we took for a 2-hour trip to, you know, I felt like, you know, every year it's just gotten better and better. Our people are great, and our home crowds have been great all year. And
look, it's so funny. Our viewership is up, and we've had close to 1,300 people that have watched the broadcast since Friday night, and I think it was 600 to 700 that watched it that night, so an additional 700 have watched it since then. But the home crowd, speaking to that, our viewership on our home crowd, our games, is very low until after the game, and then folks are going back and watching it on there, and so that's good to see that people are wanting to go back and see what's going on.
Crowd support's been great. Got to bond pass. Some facilities are coming. Gonna stay in the fight. I mean, there's
still working on that press box.
Look, there's a bunch of things that we're working on, and I'm going to say it again, you're never done,
That's right.
I mean, what's the next thing? And look, there's a lot we have to address, there's a lot, that we can improve on. The thing that you want is you want people to want to improve.
Right.
That's the biggest thing is, we're, I said it a couple years ago, and I don't necessarily want to do all that again, but we can be better and let's be better. And, I know for our coaching staff and our group in the locker room, our administration, Jody, Miss Goodman,
Right.
Miss Hilton, all those people, they're just incredible. And, you're honored to show up and work with them. And, but I know we can be better and let's choose to be better, as far as down the road. I mean, I'm looking forward to, the turf getting put down in the off season.
Look, that is going to be so cool. Have y'all designed that? Have you got what it's going to look like?
Look, I don't. I'm trying to.
I know you get through this season, but that's cool. That's what
I'm just saying there's a process to all this stuff. You're dealing with government and bureaucratic, and it's got to sit for 30 days here. And
Let me tell you how
you?
aggravating it was. I was talking to one of the 2 or 3 things that aggravated me in the press box last week on there. One, that they came and brought that jersey to me, that stupid jersey I had to wear the whole game.
Sorry,
Coach, and then I've got to wear it next year too now.
I'm sorry,
but we'll work on that and the food in the press box. But what they tell me, Downhour comes over and tells me, he says we got to replace our turf next year. We've had this for 11 years. I was like, I don't even want to hear that.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it. And what 2 years ago you had a hole in your turf that always said that
it's got to start somewhere.
Right.
It's got to start somewhere, and believe that we've got that ball rolling, and
yes.
Just going to keep pushing it, whether it's uphill, downhill, flat surface, whatever. We're going to keep pushing, and yeah. I mean, we're going to be back in the coaching box, and kids are going to be out there. They're going to put 11 out. We're going to put 11 out on any given play. At least we want to put 11 out. Hopefully we don't put 12. We've made that mistake a few times. I mean,
that's happened before.
I say all the time, you got to play with 11, and technically you don't. You can play with 10, but we want to play with 11.
But not 12.
Everybody's going. We're going to put 2 teams between the white lines, and there's going to be competition. And I know we're looking forward to it. I know they're looking forward to it. It should be a lot of fun here in a couple of days.
Trojans start the year 0-2. They win 3 straight. Start district 0-2. We're setting up a run to win 3 straight. I'm predicting 6-4 finish to the season, and then off to the playoffs we go.
Got to win the first one to win the next one.
What I'm here for is to look at the end of it. You're game by game. I'm as we go along. So, guys, it has been a joy bringing you this one, a Tuesday night edition of the Thomas Bachman Show.
I hope people enjoyed it. I know you get on different things, and we discussed a bunch of different things through the thing. And look,
this is one of those good shows because we just talked a lot of football.
Yep. Well, you're just sharing your heart, and sharing hopefully, where you want to be and what you want to do. We want to be one of those programs, and we've been almost to the mountaintop, and, let's
go win 8 straight.
Yeah,
and let's
take it one at a time, but
I don't want to.
Yeah, but you got to.
I understand you got to. That's going to wrap it up here. We talk football all night long, I promise you that. But Mrs. Bachman and Mrs. Gann would get aggravated, as would Mrs. Perkins. She would as well. Look, for everybody that made it out tonight, a big thank you. Coach, as always, thank you for sharing your week with us and letting us look into the mindset and your team a little bit. Looking forward to a big game Friday night.
Can't wait.
There you go. We'll go on the air at 6:30. Again, we invite you to not watch our broadcast. We want you to go out and support these young men that are out there, and we promise we'll leave it up on YouTube forever so you can go back and watch it. Bring your phone with you. Watch it there at the stadium if you want to. I ran into Chris Bailey at the Ash East Ascension game, I guess that it was. And he told me what he'll do is he'll hear the crowd cheer, and then he'll look at his phone because there's a little bit of a delay. But if you're watching at home, you don't know there's that delay.
So he's socializing, huh?
So he's got them kids running around and there's all of this, and he's doing. But
takes a lot of attention.
Absolutely it does. And so he'd say, look, that's down at the other end of the field. Hold on. And he'll go back and look at it.
That's
so
awesome.
That's great to see.
The broadcast is great. It is.
Well, we appreciate that. We really do. We've got a lot of great enhancements that are going to come along as well.
And I know we're running over time. That's all part of it.
That's right.
It's all part of it. It's all important. All of it, you know.
We're going to turn it into a program, Coach. I can assure you that. Pregame starts at 6:30. Kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. Coach Bachman, thank you for making it out
Absolutely.
again. Best to your family back at home, of course. From our man pushing the buttons, Chuck Perkins. Thank you, as always. I am Doug Gann. God bless you all, and good night. We'll see you Friday night.